we're going to do a little mudra to kick us off today, just briefly connecting with our intention. The idea that we're working on today is a Sanskrit word. This is Pratyahara. Pratyahara means sensory withdrawal. So it means that we're focusing more and more internally by not necessarily paying attention to what our senses tell us. So sometimes we'll take moments to close the eyes or to not focus on taste or smell or different senses like that. Even the skin sensation of like getting a mosquito bite and having to itch it. We're trying to not focus so much externally so that we can focus more deeply internally. And so that's the idea of Pratyahara. So we're going to be playing with kind of curling in a word just a little bit today. The first thing I want us to do, though, is the Pratyahara mudra. So this is the hand position that really kind of helps us to take on and to explore that idea of the sensory withdrawal. So ultimately, this mudra does plug up our ears. So I'm going to explain it first. The idea is once we get the mudra in place over our face, you're going to take 3 good, relaxing breaths in and out. And then when you finish all 3, just drop your hands down, maybe elbows bending, sending the fingers off the back end, so I can kind of tell that everybody's finished. So with this mudra, we take sock hands. So pointer and middle are together, ring and pinky are together, thumb is out. It'll be your thumb that plugs off the ears. The pointer middle finger section plugs off your eyes. So just gently place those fingers over the eyes. And then the last 2 fingers plug off the mouth, just gently resting over the mouth. Get the ears plugged off, and then when you're ready, 3 good, slow breaths in and out before you let your arms dangle off the back end so I can tell. So when you're ready, begin. Beautiful. So from that, we can feel this, what it is to curl in really nicely. This will be, think of our inspiration during today like a tortoise that curls into its shell. We'll be working on hips and other good stretches today more than anything else. And so think of more and more and more like helping to curl into that shell so that we can withdraw our senses when we desire, using it as a tool. And so let's start to work into a couple of easy little leg stretches or right knee up the chest. Hug hands around that knee. This gets us into the hip flexor stretch, or sometimes I'll let my toes do some circles. Just nice and easy, winding around. Let's start to see if our right hand can grab our right foot 3 times with keeping that grip. Just see how high up to the sky you want that right leg to start to straighten. It may not be all the way straight at all. That's okay. Back to an easy bend shape. 2 more like that, nice and slow. Leg up. Down. Leg up. And down. Good. So you can either keep the same grip or shift a little bit further down as you let the leg stay straight up to sky. Just feeling all those muscle fibers on the back side of the leg stay in a continuous stretch. Eventually hook this right heel to the back left edge of the fabric. confused thinking anybody else, but it's like a pigeon pose with the heels, so we can slide the shin in closer to the heart. So that right hip open. Feel yourself in a way kind of curled into your comfortable little tortoise shell. Throwing a couple of bonus breaths right here. So one more inhale. Exhale. Free out the leg. Sometimes I like to give it one last stretch up to sky before I release it down. And once you're there, let's start to hug the left knee in. Maybe some ankle rolls, or maybe just pull it in super, super tight. Left hand starts to reach for left foot. Let's take those 3 cycles to try to straighten left leg up to sky as high as you can with keeping the grip. So slowly 3. And back down. 2. Back down. 1. Let it stretch. Back down. And then if you need to shift the grip, that's great. Let the legs stay straight. More inhale. Exhale, hook the heel over, slide the shin in. And take a good inhale. Exhale. And start to free out this leg. Give it a good stretch up to sky. And as we start to drop it down, let's come up to sit. Feet kick free off the front. Hands grab on left and right to pull us up. Let's invert. Hook our thumbs on the part of the fabric that's right behind us. This helps us push the fabric a little bit further down. Usually it's less comfortable if it's in the waist. So I like to push it all the way back down. I've pressed my hip bones, not sitting bones, but hip bones. And then I lay halfway back, gripping back on for control. That helps me lock it in place where I wanted it. Last step, legs wide as I continue to tilt back. And then feet just start to wrap around. As soon as you've got your ankles wrapped, you're welcome to just release fingers, let your spine dangle. You find that you didn't, if you hands are safe to let go, that's right. Good. So if you find that you didn't put the fabric on quite the right spot, you can always come up, readjust, put it back down. But as much as this feels good, as long as it feels good, let's just give our body a couple of breaths just to hang. The vertebrae have space. I'll do different arm positions, like clasping hands behind my back to do a good shoulder opener. Or walking one hand up to the top of the mat, one hand to the back of the mat. Lots of things you can play with here. Just take lots of time. This is you listening to your body to know when you should come up. It's going to be different for everybody. If it's your first couple of times, just kind of help me know and I'll guide you through it when you get there. Otherwise, just keep on hanging. Up to thigh area. Side. There you go. Feet just unwind. You're almost there. Thigh area. Feet unwind. Just let the feet unwind. Beautiful. The elbows on the back. Let the shoulders go forward. We always take restful poses after the inversions. This just helps our head and our blood pressure go back to normal. Lots of time. Those that are still upside down, don't feel rushed. You're doing good. Always know you can take these resting poses longer than others. If you're like, nope, I just need a little bit more time, that's never an issue. You're starting to feel good. You'll sit back up tall. Good. Let's take a couple of things for our spine because there's some variations with vampire pose we're gonna get into today. So just giving ourselves a little break before we head straight to another inversion. Let's bunch up the fabric toward the front door side of the room. It's gonna be your shoulder that's to the back wall, the mountain side. That's the arm that opens up. Or you can circle that hand around the back side of the head if that feels better. It's a nice twist. Good. Another beautiful inhale. Exhale. Unwind from this side. Bunch up fabric to the back door side. Again, it's the shoulder to the back wall, the mountain that opens, or circles around. Inhale, exhale, and release. Bring both hands to the inside. Right knee comes in. Let's try to clasp hands around that foot, or if we know we're extra tight, you can grab more like ankle area. Lean back just a little bit to counterbalance the weight of this leg, trying to stretch up and forward. Good, let's do 3 of those little pulses we did before. The knee bends a little bit, and then straighten it back up. 2, 1, then hold it nice and straight. Feel how you're kind of like that little tortoise in its shell. You've got your protection left and right. You've just got a couple of little things trying to peek out. So just enjoy another beautiful inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and release right leg. Same thing left. Hook around. Lean back a little bit. Leg tries to straighten up. Get it to this spot. 3 little pulses. Knee bends. Try to straighten. And 2. And 1. Good. Pull it back straight. A couple of bonus moments. Beautiful. Dropping the leg down. Here we'll head to Vampire. Those that know it, go ahead and head into it. Those that are, it's newer, you want a refresher, I'll do it first so you can see it visually, and then you'll head into it. Nope. So head into Vampire. Also, don't hang upside down longer than your body is capable of, because we're going to do some variations with this. So first, just to watch for those that need it. This is like a shoulder stand. So the idea is you have to get fabric to cover your shoulders. So you do want enough to do a complete wrap all the way around your shoulders, but you don't want too much excess because that'll push into your neck. My elbows are like chicken wings out to the side because I want to take all the excess down to my waist. Then from here, I lay all the way back. I should have the excess at my waist here. And then I step my feet in. Before I straighten the legs out, I lift my hips up, because then when I straighten it, takes that excess down. Good. It's okay to just watch. That's okay. I'll guide you through it again. But from here, last things are gripping up. Gather up some of the fabric in your hands. And then feet, when they come up, we turn the toes out to lock it in place right above where the hands are. So both feet end up there, turn out, press into the fabric, and we're rising upside down and pull down. Okay. So you made it to the laying down step. So make sure you get all the excess to your feet. If you need to sometimes scoot the feet in, lift up and just keep on doing that scooting a couple of times. That's beautiful. Hands are reaching up, grab some of the fabric. Feet, both of them make a hike up. And we're turning the toes out to hook them right above where the hands are. Good. It's okay. Yeah, there you go. So it's not a heel hook. It's on the inside, turning toes out. Good. So from there, push in the fabric to rise. Okay. See if you can rise all the way directly up and down. It is safe to do that. If ever it's uncomfortable in the neck, usually that's a sign you need to take a little bit more of the fabric down. Good. So let's not stay here too long. So we have some blood pressure, I guess, to do some more back-to-back inversions from here. Just take 2 or 3 more breaths, and then a little mini shavasana to give us a break before we head to the next step. So you can even pop the head back in, but know if you take any fabric toward head, you will have to shift it back down so it's not uncomfortable. Good. And so here, while we're still recovering, I'll start to show the next variation, which is a plow pose. Try to get yourself, if you're not sure, to a spot where you can see me. So either kind of peek out the end, or maybe some of us need to sit up. But it's the same steps for the vampire part, so the fabric is still just enough to cover shoulders. This time though, all the excess that I brought down to my feet, I need to bring to kind of cover my thighs like a blanket. So that's the only difference. Hands come up, feet do the same thing, turning toes out to rise upside down. And then to take our plow pose, feet come together. We start to lower the toes down to the spot directly in front of our chest. And we're in plow pose. So it's much more kind of curled in like a little tortoise. So that'll be a new stretch from that inversion. There's still one more step to go after this. So again, don't stay too long to the point where you're like in panic inverting mode. But that'll be the next step that we're playing with. So excess puts up our thighs like a little blanket. Still got enough to cover shoulders, hands grip up high, feet come to that same spot all the way right where the hands are, and then toes turn out to lock it. Good, rise upside down. And then it's kind of a fun little balance game. See if you can bring your feet together to touch. And then hips go slightly behind you to counterbalance the weight of the legs going in for now. Kind of a fun way to play with balance. Yes, yes. There's a point where the toes can't go any further, so that's where you're trying to go all the way toes down to that spot right in front of your chest. Good. Stay for a little while or roll out at any point. Take another little mini shavasana when you get there. Let's just enjoy another 3 or 4 relaxing breaths. It's kind of internal focus, feeling good. Okay, the last one we're playing with is like a little somersault flip inside of it. So if you need to peek and watch me, again, do the same thing you did, either sitting up or kind of peeking up the side, whatever you need to do. The hand position for this one is a little bit different than the last couple, and you do want a lot of fabric up your thighs. So those of us that are tall, I'll have to show you what we need to do to readjust, but you get tons of fabric up your thighs. This time, instead of just gripping up high left and right, what I do is I face my palms toward my face. I keep my thumbs on the outside, and then the rest of my fingers grip, like I'm curling it in. From there, I shove my elbows all the way into my waist. So that's the arm position for this one. So from here, same steps to rise upside down, bring the feet up, rise upside down. Same thing to pike down. You do want your knees covered, so if you're tall like me, you'll have to gather a little bit of extra fabric before you drop your knees down to kneel. Your hips need to shimmy all the way back to your feet, think of child pose, and then the elbows swivel up to the sides like chicken wings, and we roll all the way up. Coming back out, I know, kind of fun. Coming back out, think of shoulder stand first, so shoulders down, legs straight, and then roll all the way in. So it eventually can become a full, fast little circle, but let's take it step by step again for those of you that want, those of you that are comfortable, you've done it before, just do it. But yeah, so take all the excess fabric up your thighs. The hand position again. Look at your palms. Your palms are facing toward your face. Thumbs stay on the outside. The rest of the fingers grip some fabric. So face toward you. Perfect. Yep. Thumbs stay on the outside. And then the rest of the fingers is curled in. Nope. They need to be on the inside. Yeah. Shove the elbows all the way into the waist. Good. Feet come up. Press into the fabric to rise upside down. Good. Hike the feet in front of you like the cow pose we just did. If you're tall, you'll need to walk your toes backwards so that you can feel on some fabric. And then if you're kneeling down, good. Once you're kneeling, you'll have to shimmy your hips back. And then, so it's like past where the fabric is. And then the elbows go out to each side to help you rise up. Yep, so hips need to go further back to your toes. Hips to toes, send it back. Yep, shimmy past the fabric bit where it's trying to block it. Good. Good, send the hips further back. And then elbows to the sides to just help us do that last little curl up. Good. It is funky, but think of hips to toes. If hips are not far enough back, it's really hard to get in it. Yeah. That's okay, that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes momentum is needed too. So if you're doing momentum, just do a quick little curl up and then you round up in. Obviously I'm tall, so I always have to pause at that one step. How do you come out? Is that what you're asking? So your elbows have to go to the side. Think of left and right. Yep, that's it. Keep pressing. You're almost there. Just keep sending hips back and keep on pressing elbows out. Nope, you're going forward. Yep, back to your feet. Think of child pose. And that's okay, not everybody gets up the first time.
Bring it in. And maybe stand up a little bit on your feet. That's kind of how I have to do it. You have a position.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
That's okay. Take a little break. Take a little shavasana. There will be other days we play with this too. The more your body gets used to just vampire in general, the easier it gets. So this is basically playtime as long as you guys want to play with it. So some of us will try again. Some of us are about that, inverted out for a little while, so that's fine. Keep on playing. Yep. Where are you at? Are your hands in place?
If I'm like this.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Hip stack. So you kind of have to shimmy past where the fabric is. Shimmy back. Yeah. Elbows up to front. Keep on pressing. Yes. Your body. Good. You can keep on playing, rolling in, rolling out, or just stay for a little while. That's fine too.
Whitney, may I get some help too?
Uh-huh. So knees need to be all the way inside. Walk your toes further into it. All the way to the point where you can kneel on it. Oops. So come back up and kneeling that way.
Oh, kneeling this way?
Yep, so kneel it. So it'll help you. You didn't fly your elbows all the way to your waist. That would be the
All the way to the waist.
So you're gripping up high, so you have to do a full shoulder rotation. Usually it's more like a It's it's like super close to you instead of blocking together. So it's like you had the grip right, like with your fingers around, but you had to shove elbows before you had to do it. Yeah. Okay, everybody happy for now, or do we want to do any last little things here? That's the best part, is the rolling out is way easier. So Michael, if you need help rolling out, that's fine too. You can just come out that way. Okay, so this will be just a little mini shavasana until you feel like you're good to move on. We'll do a couple of stretches just outside the fabric for a little while. I would like to come back inside, I think, for the end to do some nice, really good hip opener stretches, curl this into the fabric, but we'll be some time outside first. So at some point, you'll come up to a seated place, and you double check your system, make sure everything's still good. Sometimes it takes a moment here. So if you need to breathe, just be slow, that's fine. Then at some point, you'll feel ready to come all the way out. So just grab onto the fabric, lift the hips right up and out. Yay, let's come to stand behind. Allow hands to grip a little bit wider than shoulders. Upper body goes forward. Hips go back. Make sure you're not standing too far behind plumb line. So we're like right up to plumb line. That'll help. Good. Good. So as we're swaying toward front door, first bend your right elbow to point down to the ground. And that left straight arm goes all the way to front door. Pull the shoulder open, let the knees and feet do whatever they need to do to be comfortable. Good, straight right back through the center. And bend left elbow to point down. Right straight arm goes all the way to the back. Good, one more inhale. Exhale. Straighten back forward. Let's bend the knees, roll our spine up. Let's do some of our stretches. So right leg inside. Make sure you're not standing too far behind the plumb line. You gaze up and it's like an inch or two right behind. So from here, flat hands high, thumbs hug around. Give your body a couple of breaths to sink weight forward. Some people, this is a calf stretch, back heel dropping down. If the ankle's weak, rise up on the toes instead. This can also be a psoas stretch, just by stretching and sinking the weight forward. Good. Grip both hands to the left side. Rotate your left shoulder to the left. And we're in warrior two, sinking the weight forward. Your choice if your front arm wants to reach forward, pressing tricep into the fabric, maybe back arm back. Try to think of the spine still being stacked upright instead of shoulder leaning forward into it. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Grab onto the fabric. Squeeze in our thighs together. Let's flip down to ankle. So from this spot, we're still grabbing on this left side. And we'll be right hand sliding down, left hand sliding up. Feel how this opens chest, opens shoulders. Your choice if you also want to sink some weight forward. So weight comes over standing leg. Keep the right hand. The left hand starts to slide down your left leg. Maybe you end at your shin or maybe left fingers to floor. Again, if you make it to this spot, you can stay or you can hop your hand forward a foot to sink more weight forward to fabric. Good. So if you put any weight forward, we'll transfer it back. So left hand slides back. Weight is over that left leg. Then just gently let yourself rise. Grip one hand on each strand to face forward. And let's head into straight forward hamstring stretch. So sinking some weight forward. Again, the back foot can be heel lifted, heel lowered. It's whatever is comfortable for the ankle. If there's ankle weakness, I tend to lift the toes up because then all the muscles surrounding the ankle. Good. So weight comes back. We're going to switch legs. Two ways to switch. Either step this foot out, step the other foot in. Swinging switch is stepping up high. Lock the leg straight so that we can step the other foot in and first foot out. You got it. Okay, ending on this thigh. I love the smiles when we get that one. It's like, yes. Okay, so again, we're not too far behind plumb line. Just hop right up to it. Flat hands high, thumbs hug around. This saves our grip. And then start to sink your weight forward. Get to warrior two. So hands grip on right side. Rotate right toes to the right. Keep sinking weight forward. If you want to release and you don't have to, you would take the left arm forward, pressing tricep into the fabric. The other arm back. Good. Hands gripped, squeezing our thighs together. Weight is over our standing leg. Slip down to ankle. First chest open like a triangle pose. Right hand goes up, left hand goes down. At that point, you're welcome to sink some weight forward if you wish. Keep the left hand gripping on. Right hand starts to slide down right leg. You can always pause somewhere halfway down or get the fingers to the floor. If they go down to the floor and you want more, pop the hand forward, sink more weight forward. Good. Take an inhale. Exhale. Weight is over standing leg. Sometimes I'll even bend my knee to help me roll up a little bit more. One hand on each side, face forward, splits, your weight to the front. A beautiful inhale. Exhale. Come back. You don't have to do another spinning switch. You can just step the foot out, but if you want to, just for practice, legs are straight. One foot in, the other foot out. And we're here. Good. So let's do a little inversion before we head back to our inside the fabric. So we're taking the fabric behind us, so it's over each shoulder. Those that know it, go ahead and go to straddle back. So it's the palm and the thumb that come in. All the fingers want to be free so they don't get stuck. So I'm active here with the hands, so that way it keeps the fabric across sacrum from here, and not sitting bones. So we're not sitting on it, but it's behind sacrum. If it's too low, you also won't be able to get it. Good. We're active, press here. 1 foot steps back. Bend the knees. You're starting to put your weight into the fabric to take all the slack out. Keep it locked where you placed it. If it slips up, you have to start over. So then from here, core is engaged, so that's what puts the weight to keep it there. I tiptoe forward until I'm under plumb line. And then once I'm under plumb line, all at once, hands up, knees wide. Wide, wider than the mat. Nope. So you're inside the, there you go, wide, that's it. And then wrap the feet, just like before. Once the feet are wrapped, you're safe, you can let go and just hang. Good. Good. So this is as long as you want to be here. We've done quite a few inversions, so if you're kind of inverted out, you don't have to stay super long. I'll give you plenty of time if this is amazing for most of you though. Got it. Just like that. Slow use the core. Good. Stop. Just lean back so your head has time. Oftentimes I'll take my head into my hands so it's supported as I lean back. I'll bend the right knee, just sway my elbows to the right. Eventually switch. Some of you just got out of the inversion, so stay here a little bit longer. You'll help me know that you're ready, you're good to move on. When you're standing up, wider legs than the mat, just leaning forward. Halfway down. Just a good little stretch before we transition on. So all of us just take 2 more good breaths right in this spot. Start to bend the knees and roll up. Feel the feet underneath you. Good. So we're going to come back inside the fabric. So for some really deep kind of internal focus stretches. So same steps to get in. Grab, come all the way up to the top. Grab this front edge of the fabric because it curls under. Wave it left and right. So it doesn't trick you. I think it's stuck on the outside this time. There you go. Good. So we're trying to get ourselves in the center for where we're going. So when you hook your thumbs, grab that 5 or so grips. One of the first things we do when we get into the inside is note if we are actually in the center or not, because this gripping of the 5, 6, whatever our hand size is, this will be what gets us to the center. So just note that. So come back under plumb line, rise up to toes, slide on in. Good. We're gonna bunch up the fabric to the side that faces you to the center of the room. Once you've got that side bunched up, lock your arms straight. That gives some space for that hip, so that leg can swing up and over. Good. And it's always funky the first time, don't worry about it. Just take your time, do all the steps. When you lock your arms straight, that gives you the space. Good. Once you're here, both legs come all the way into the fabric, straighten the legs out. It's just stepping the heel into the spot that's under the thighs and then extending out. Good. So this is where you can know if you made it to the center or not. So this is kind of just a good note for yourself. If you ended up too far forward, you'll need to take some more fabric in your hands whenever you do those little grips. If you ended way too far to the back, that means you took too much fabric. So you'll just adjust accordingly. It doesn't matter too much as long as you're somewhat centered today. So grip the hands onto that outer fabric and then press wide so that you can feel your inner thigh stretching. Try to keep the core engaged to try to sit up as tall as you can. Good. So for some of us, it's going to be left, some of us right. So we're going to use orientation of the room instead. So your leg that's closer to the mirror or the front side of the room, bend that knee in. And our goal ultimately is going to be heading toward pigeon pose on that side, but kind of an intermediate step. Try to get both shoulders to dive through that end of the fabric so we can kind of locate ourselves facing to the mirror. So knees bent out to the side. We didn't trip the foot was still on the end of the fabric. Just bend the knee in. Good. Dive the shoulders to that front end. Beautiful. Just lean forward like a little tortoise peeking out of its shell. Just one good inhale. Exhale. Good. So from this spot, it's easy to locate the 2 ends of the fabric. So from this front leg, find the end that's close to the toes and then slide up that end. The other part will be where your shoulders kind of are right now. So locate the end and then slide the hands up. You're gripping high on each side of that. From there, once you've got that high grip, use some arm strength. so that you can swivel your back leg all the way behind you into pigeon pose. So front knee still bent like pigeon pose. Swiveled your back leg all the way back behind. So you still need to be facing toward this front end. Good. Grab the 2 in from that side. Yeah, that's it. And then the other side. And lift up so you can swivel that leg around. Swivel it all the way around to the face back. Yep, you got it. Good. The shoulder that's over your toes, if you want to free that one out, it keeps the rest of the fiber like a little seatbelt and picking forward. Beautiful. So we're gonna head to half splits. So hands need to slide right back up where they were. Pick yourself up to kneel on your back knee. Then front leg straightens out. From that spot, slide the hands forward. Across those front ends. Just leaning forward. Good. Something like that tortoise, maybe completely enclosed, maybe just kind of peeking out. Just enjoy another good inhale. Exhale. We're gonna come back to that wide angle seated pose. So this front hip, rock it to the side until your weight drops onto that hip. And then the back leg needs to swivel back open. Once we're here, grab left and right to press the inner thighs open, nice and wide. We're back where we started. Good. So from here, as we're preparing to face the back wall now, the leg that's toward the back needs to bend, so the foot swivels in. Both shoulders dive out that end. That helps us to kind of find where we're going. Good. Just a good breath or two right here. Beautiful. So then find these 2 ends of the fabric. So one will be where the toes are. The other one is a little bit wider. Good. Grip up nice and high so that you can lift your weight up. Swivel your back leg all the way around to point to the mirror. Then you're in pigeon. You can stay up higher. That's more of an arch, like a king pigeon. Or you can free out the shoulder that's closer to your toes. Keep the rest of the fabric like a little seatbelt over your chest. Good. Beautiful inhale. Exhale. Start to slide the hands nice and high so that you can shift your weight over your back knee. Once you're kneeling, the front leg can straighten out. Slide the hands down to half splits. Another good inhale. Exhale. We're going to end up in that wide spot again. So rock your weight onto your front hip. Swivel the other knee back open. Here I'm going to give you a variation if you want to take it for Shavasana today. That would be just placing bottoms of feet together, almost like think of a cobbler's pose. Just the knees bend like we've been doing and the feet are touching together. So this is a good spot where forehead pressed forward, back up, head pressed backward. This one would be an easy spot to do that Pratyahara mudra again, closing off the eyes, the mouth, and the ears, taking a couple of rounds of breath until you're ready to drop the hands down. If anybody would prefer to do more of a normal Shavasana, you can just come swing one of your legs back forward to lay all the way down instead. So this is kind of personal preference, what you want to do for Shavasana. Maybe taking Pratyahara Mudra, maybe not. But think of yourself kind of being closed in either way, like this little tortoise in its shell. Think of what's drawing your senses in. So if something speaks to you, like say you have a mosquito bite that's itching, rather than scratching it constantly, see if you can withdraw from that, not needing to focus your attention on anything that you don't want to. Just allow the breath to be flowing. Honestly, Shavasana is kind of the biggest Pratyahara position. Because in Shavasana, we are withdrawing, just focusing on the breath. Because for several minutes, so just let yourself enjoy. Here we'll begin to deepen the inhales, exhales. Introducing little movements that fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Like a tortoise, kind of starting to wake up, starting to break back open, feeling its limbs open from the shell. If you're laying back at this point, you're welcome to take some of our stretches, bringing the arms to the back wall, shoulders left to right, or a fetal position, coming out. If you're in the wide straddle, feel free to start stretching arms and legs out, maybe leaning to one side and leaning to the other side. Just little wiggles for the spine, wiggles for the limbs that help us feel good, open. If you're inside at some point, we'll come back out to face forward. So you can take the legs out of each side. Once you're back to that wide straddle, you can swing one leg up and over. If you are laying inside, at some point, come onto your back again. Come all the way up to sit. Inside, outside the fabric is all personal choice. Bring hands to heart. Take just a moment to reconnect back to this intention of Pratyahara. When we learn how to withdraw from our senses, then it becomes a choice. Up until that point, our senses, we're kind of victim to them. Something happens, all of our attention goes there. Something else, all of our attention goes there. And it's like we have this kind of spiritual ADD where we can't really focus on what we ultimately want to focus on. So with this withdrawal of the senses, it's training for our brain so that ultimately we can focus on something of our choice, whether that's internal or single pointed focus on something external. So it's a little skill, it's little by little develop. So perhaps today we got a little closer by learning how to curl in like the tortoise. So with this idea to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.